I'm Christine Persichetti with this Currents News update. Reading, writing, arithmetic, and social justice. Students of Catholic Academies in the Diocese of Brooklyn are getting lessons in race, tolerance, and equality through a new social justice curriculum. Our Jessica Easthope has more from Sunset Park.
We need to treat everybody just, equally, the same.
Learning about social justice isn't new in the diverse classrooms at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Catholic Academy.
No.
But for the first time, it's an official part of the curriculum.
Give them a much better, broader perspective of life, of God, and what God expects from us.
What do you see?
Earlier this month, Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio announced every school in the Diocese of Brooklyn would make the new social justice curriculum part of religion class. Each month, students will explore a new theme. September is solidarity. Teachers say it's an opportunity to address current events and issues of race and equality through faith.
We're taking a step away from textbooks and kind of teaching the children to take a page from Jesus and to be as he did.
The goal is for students and teachers to embrace social justice as part of a Catholic education.
So we create a loving, open environment where they don't need to be afraid of these issues.
Every month, teachers across the diocese will be provided with new age-appropriate course materials and book suggestions. October's theme is family, community, and participation. In Sunset Park, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Today was supposed to be the day that all New York City public school teachers had to have at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. But a court of appeals has put a temporary halt on the mayor's mandate. That injunction will hold until a 3-judge panel decides whether the vaccine mandate is constitutional. More than 90% of the city's public school teachers and principals are vaccinated. Help is on the way for undocumented New Yorkers impacted by Ida. Mayor Bill de Blasio and Governor Kathy Hochul have put aside $27 million in hurricane relief funds to help those who don't qualify for FEMA assistance. The announcement comes nearly a month after the massive storm flooded apartments, businesses, and subway stations, causing an estimated $50 million in damages. Pope Francis dedicating part of his Sunday Angelus to the 107th annual World Day of Migrants and Refugees by calling upon the faithful to open their hearts.
Putting ourselves at the side of those who are more vulnerable, migrants, refugees, displaced, victims of human trafficking, and those who are abandoned. We are called to build a more inclusive world that does not exclude anyone.
The Pope adding that we must walk together without prejudice or fear. And over the weekend, more than 200 advocates gathered on both sides of the border near Nogales, Arizona, to support 25 families there seeking asylum in the U.S. The marchers chanted, "President Biden, save our asylum," calling on the White House to roll back the Trump administration's Remain in Mexico policy for asylum seekers. This as the Department of Homeland Security reports more than 12,000 Haitians of the 30,000 who had gathered at our Texas border have been allowed into the U.S. They're now having their asylum claims heard. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says about 1/4 of those they've let in are being detained. Stay with Currents News. National correspondent for the Tablet and Crux, John Lavenberg, will be reporting from Del Rio, Texas, starting Tuesday. The Democratic-controlled House passing the so-called Women's Protection Act. Pro-life advocates are calling it one of the most extreme pro-abortion bills in U.S. history. The bill was brought to the floor in response to Texas's 6-week abortion ban. Among its provisions, it nullifies laws allowing doctors to opt out of performing abortions. The Senate's version of this bill is not expected to pass. A U.S. Army veteran was laid to rest in Brooklyn Saturday, more than 70 years after he was first reported missing during the Korean War. Currents News' Emily Drupy was there.
It's a solemn sound, one many military families know well. Taps, a sign that an American hero has fallen. Many pray never to hear it, but not the Smith family. They've waited over 70 years for this moment. finally laying Raymond Smith to rest. In 1950, Raymond was fighting in the Korean War. His unit was attacked, leaving him missing in action. He was only 18 years old. Never confirmed dead, never brought home, denying his family any closure until now, explains his nephew.
And it was shocking that we got contacted by the Army saying, hey, we had a DNA match with Uncle Raymond.
Found because in 2018, a summit between then-President Donald Trump and North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un led to the country turning over 55 boxes allegedly filled with the remains of American service members killed during the Korean War. DNA testing identified him. From Sunset Park originally, his remains flown home with honors.
The patriotism was overwhelming, especially at the airport when they flew him in, and the flag on the casket, and all the police were lined up, saluted.
Where Raymond was given a proper Catholic burial.
Today we had the honor of bringing him home to Brooklyn, where he belonged, where he began his life, and where now he rests in peace here with the rest of his family.
An American hero finally making his way home. At the Greenwood Cemetery, Emily Druby, Currents News.
Meanwhile, in Kansas, the remains of another war hero has finally made their way back home. U.S. Army captain and chaplain Father Emil Kapan died in a North Korean POW camp 70 years ago. Now his remains have returned to the Diocese of Wichita. A public vigil and funeral mass will be celebrated on Tuesday and Wednesday. Father Kapan is up for canonization. The Congregation for Saints in Rome is reviewing his cause. That is this Currents News update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us, because we are putting your faith in the news.